McElroy is from Tacoma, Washington. She said 253. She is graduating with a BA in Comparative Ethnic Studies with a minor in Women's Studies. As a first-generation student, Vhonda has overcome many odds to get to her graduation. Despite and perhaps because of the many challenges, Vhonda made a point to contribute to the experience of fellow students through her involvement. She served as a recruiter for the WSU Department of Critical Culture and Gender Studies, as an intern with the American Association of University Women, and as a team leader, organizer, and workshop presenter for the Visionaries Inspiring Black Empowered Students, the VIBES Conference. Vhonda also served as Chief Justice and Grant and Finance Director for the Associated Students at Washington State University, interned with the Foley Institute for the Obama campaign, represented Black Women's Caucus as a senator to Coalition for Women Students, served as driving volunteer for Women's Transit, accumulating over 100 hours, and served on the Commission on the Status of Women for the Office of the President. With you, please help me welcome Vhonda McElroy.
Hi. All those accomplishments sound really cool, but if you only knew it, but it took me 8 years to complete them. And out of all those accomplishments, my most favorite is being a mom. Yeah, I wrote something, and I feel like it's pretty. But instead, can I just be myself for a little bit, you guys? So, today I just wanted to acknowledge someone in my life. And that person is my mother. She's here in the front row to support me, drove all the way here after working how many, 50, 60, 70 hours with small children who have needs, and drove all the way out here to see her oldest daughter graduate. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about my history and my giant, my 4'9.5" giant. That is my mother. So, where do I start? She was a housewife for 10 years. And at the end of that 10 years, she found herself almost homeless, a single mother of 4 children, no college education, and lonely and scared. And I remember many nights of my mother being on her knees, crying out to God and saying, God, just give me the strength. Give me the strength. And I'm like, what are you asking strength for? Like, you're already strong. You pumped all 4 of us out. You know? She must have already gotten that strength. And I didn't understand it then. And I didn't understand when she would hold my hand before she would leave for her 3rd job at night and ask her 10-year-old daughter, I need you to be strong, Vhonda. I need you to make sure those doors are locked. And I would make a game out of barricading the doors because we lived in the hood and people would break into your house if you didn't barricade the doors. But my mother had to go to work. And I remember my mother graduating from college with her bachelor's degree in social work and in sociology with honors. And I was there for that. And I remember her smile. I remember how happy she looked. And I didn't understand the sacrifices when I was 10 or 12 or 16 or 18 or 21. I didn't get it. I'm going to read you a piece of this. She set an example for me that sometimes, even with all the things I've accomplished, I'm like, dang, I could never step in her shoes. I entered into WSU in 2006. I failed out of school 3 times. And each time, it was my mother who told me to get my education because no matter what, couldn't nobody take that from me. You see, my mother, when I was a child, would read to me bell hooks and Nikki Giovanni and talking about how beautiful I was as a woman of color. And when I thought I was not worth anything, when I was scared and when I was lonely and when I didn't know what to do, she was the one who sat down with me and helped me do all my research. And my first ABC book was about black female artists, and my mother was the one who inspired that. She's so powerful, I don't even know what to say. And every time that I got in trouble for failing out of school, my mother was the one who came to my side and told me, I told you to get it together. And yet she wrapped her arms around me, kissed me, and said, now go on, handle it. That's my mom's favorite line, handle it. What does handle it mean? I handled it, Mama. And she is still that same woman who, when I called her and told her, Mom, I'm scared, I'm pregnant, and I'm alone, and the father of my son doesn't want this child, and I'm supposed to go to school next year, and how am I supposed to do it? She said, girl, handle it. You can do it. I did it. And she's that same woman. Excuse me. She's that same woman who answers her call in the middle of the night so I can gossip with her about the President's State of the Union. And she's that same woman who answers her calls at 9 o'clock when I can hear kids screaming around her because she has to take care of so many, and I can gossip with her about why I think Jim Henson must have been on drugs when he created Sesame Street, because it is just so obnoxious every morning. I love you, Chubby, but I have got to get rid of Sesame Street. She stands in the gap for me, and I didn't know what that means. I didn't know what that meant at the time. And when my mother was going to school, right, she would always say, you know, I need people to stand in the gap for me because either you're for me or you're against me. And I didn't understand what she meant. And then I got here, and I realized that there are institutions that can be for you and can be against you at the same time. And where does that leave me? And I was scared and I was lonely and I didn't know what to do. But yet she didn't give any excuses, so I chose not to give any more excuses. I'm proud to be a part of this institution. I'm proud of all the work that I've done because I didn't do the work for me. I didn't do it to put it on my resume because, trust me, being the senator for the Coalition for Women Students isn't going to get me a job at the UN. But it does let me have the opportunity and the chance to meet so many of you in the audience standing before me. I'm just proud to be your peer. You inspired me. You don't need to be inspired. You inspired me. So every time midterms and finals comes around this past year and a half, my son's almost 2, I have to watch this movie, The Lorax, over and over again. And I'm telling you, after a while, it becomes like humming in the background. I'm gonna close this, I'm gonna eat this. It comes like humming in the background, but there's this last line that I always catch, and Dr. Seuss said it best. He said, if someone like you doesn't care a whole lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. It's cute, it's simple, and yet I think that that's something that we should all think about today. Because, as Marcella so eloquently put, today is just the first day of many, and I am expecting each and every last one of us to rise to the occasion, because these people out here who sacrificed their time and their love, and for many of us mothers who labored to push you out, the least you can do is succeed, because somebody sacrificed their life for us to stand up here today. I'm an ethnic studies major, and I wear that like a crown, because I learned that our history is heavy, and it's hard, and it's filled with sorrow, but it's also filled with great triumph, and we owe it to ourselves and to our people to do better.
Amen! Amen! Speak, girl, speak!
I just want to tell you all that I love you, every last one of you, and I expect for somebody to become an attorney, because I'm going to need you to bail me out of jail when I get incarcerated for protesting. And I'm also going to need a couple of you guys to make sure CPS isn't trying to take my baby, because he's cute. So with that, I believe in you. I trust that you know what you're doing, because clearly you spent over $120,000 to get a piece of paper. Okay? You can do this. You will do this. I'm so proud of you. And go, go!